Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, now continuing Nickelodeon with another Nickelodeon movie review. Here's a review for Nacho Libre. So, when I first saw the trailer for this movie and was finding out more stuff about this movie, I was going into it with a lot of anticipation for it, because this had a lot of things that I liked about it. Well, had a lot of things I liked involving it. Yeah, involved with it, yeah. The movie, of course, stars Jack Black, and yeah, Jack Black, he's just awesome. I remember seeing School of Rock, and I really liked it. And yeah, Jack Black was, of course, the star of this movie, and also Mike White, who was the writer for School of Rock, was also one of the writers for this movie. Yeah, and also, this movie was directed by Jared Hess, the same director as Napoleon Dynamite, which I also really love that movie. So, yeah, the stuff I really like about it, and plus also, this was a movie about wrestling, and since being a wrestling fan, that gave me some more reasons wanting to see this movie. So I went into this movie with big hopes, being about wrestling with Jack Black, it could be funny, and since it was Jared Hess made Napoleon Dynamite a funny movie, I was thinking this movie, it could be really funny. And with all my anticipation for it, did this movie live up to my anticipation? Sort of. I mean, this isn't a completely stupid and just this isn't a complete bomb. This movie, it does have its funny moments to it, but at other times it can get really stupid and just the jokes seem pretty forced. So yeah, the movie is just kind of like a mixed bag, really. It's not terrible, but it's it does have its funny moments, but I don't think it has enough for me to really call this a good movie. Yeah, yeah, like I said, I mean, this does have its funny moments to it, but yes, specifically with Jack Black. I mean, yeah, Jack Black, he can he has some really funny parts in this movie, but at other times he's just acting pretty stupid, and yeah, the movie can just just go from being funny to being stupid. I mean, it's just it goes back and forth, and it's just all over the place. Yeah. The movie is set in Mexico, so the wrestling in this movie is lucha libre style. And yeah, Jack Black, he also tries to put a Mexican accent on in this movie. And yeah, his accent is not really that offensive, I think. He doesn't really do anything to really make Mexicans really sound stupid. And yeah, he does actually go through a struggle in this movie. It's just he wants to make more money to because he's a cook at an orphanage, and he wants to give the orphans a better lifestyle and make them have a better life and stuff. And he also is falling for a nun in the orphanage also, and he's trying to win her over in this movie. Yeah, and in this movie, he also has a tag partner to go into the wrestling league with. And they have a connection going on in this movie, and also of course have the big wrestler who is the bad guy or the villain. You know, people like him, but he really doesn't care. He's just about money and doesn't really care about his fans or anything. And so yeah, the movie does kind of have the movie wrestling movie style to it, where it just has a person who doesn't care about the people and just wants the money and all that stuff. Yeah, so yeah, it does kind of have a story going on to it. The story is pretty decent, and yeah, it has some humor in it. Sometimes where it is actually funny, and sometimes where it's just not funny at all. So, yeah, as I said, the movie is just like kind of a mixed bag. I mean, it just really does not have the charm or humor that things like School of Rock and Napoleon Dynamite did. And, yeah, so, yeah, on a, so on a whole, it's not like a total fail. I mean, there are like some good things about it, but just not like really not enough for me to call it really a good movie. I would probably give this movie 2.25 stars out of 4. Yeah, I mean, it's not like something where, like how I felt about Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events, where there was just like nothing I liked about it, and it was just like was completely unfunny and just going too far and stuff. With this movie, it seemed like they were like the people were actually trying to like try to make this seem as good as they really could, but yeah, there really wasn't much they could really do with it. But for what they did a decent job with it. Alright, so yeah, let me just get right into it. So Jack Black is just, as I said, he's playing like a cook, like Ignacio. Oh, and it turned out that his parents both died when he was really young, and he's now a cook at a monastery orphanage. And everything that he's making, like the orphans really don't like it. It was funny, like he made like some kind of dish for them. I don't really know what it was. He tried to show one of the orphans that it really did taste good, and he like took a bite of it, and he just like really didn't like it, and it just like spewed out of his nose. Yeah, and Ignacio, oh, like has this wish of becoming a luchador, but the monastery forbids any wrestling there. And Ignacio is caring for the orphans. And then, yeah, since and he does can't make like that great of food because he doesn't have the money for any actual ingredient and to make food with. And there's then the nun, Sister Encarnacion, who, like I said before, Ignacio is falling for. And he's just like trying to talk to her to try to win her over and stuff. And one night, as he's trying to collect some tortilla chips that are donated for the orphans, Ignacio ends up being robbed by Steven, who's just a street thief, and he ends up taking the chips. And because of the chips being taken, and Ignacio only got like the regular dish with no chips in it, and like everybody there just didn't like it and just saying like it's the worst food they've had or something. Then Ignacio then just tries to go looking for Steven and then eventually finds him and he decides to just push aside the monastery's rules about wrestling and he decides to become a luchador to make some money. And he then has Steven join him up as a tag partner in the wrestling league. And so Ignacio ends up like changing his name to Nacho. Oh, and he also ends up wearing a mask to keep his identity secret. And Steven decides to name himself Esqueleto or Skeleton. And like they have their first match and they end up like losing it, but they do end up getting paid because in the league they're in, every wrestler ends up getting a portion of the total revenue. And they eventually do make themselves those actual wrestling outfits. And one of the orphans actually sees Ignacio and realizes what he's doing, but he promises Ignacio that he'll keep it a secret and won't tell anybody. And due to Ignacio getting paid, he's able to uh, make better food for the orphans. And he ends up giving them all like salads and stuff. And Ignacio and Steven do continue to wrestle, but they just keep ending up losing every single time. And eventually Ignacio just is unhappy about always losing, and he actually wants to win. And so Steven told Ignacio that he knows a gypsy-like man that can actually help Ignacio get the strength to win. So he takes him over to him, and this guy is calling himself Emperor, and he has Ignacio climb up to an eagle's nest and swallow the yolk of an eagle's egg, and he says that that'll give Ignacio the powers of an eagle. And so Ignacio ends up doing that, but he's, but he's they still end up losing a lot of their wrestling matches, and he's not happy about it. And eventually, he, Ignacio and some of the orphans come across the current luchador champion, and Ramses, and the kids want an autograph from him, and Ignacio tries to ask Ramses for an autograph, but Ramses refuses to do it, and he just shoves Ignacio down. And one night, then, Steven and Ignacio attend a party for wrestlers, but they're not. The guards won't let them in, so they have to actually sneak in, and they sneak in different ways. Steven ends up just like jumping over a fence and sort of gate to get in, and Ignacio like sneaks in with a mariachi band. And then, it's funny, the mariachi band's all like they're playing songs for the party, and then at one point they play a song for Ramses, and they have Ignacio sing. And it's funny, all Ignacio was just saying was like, "I'm singing, it's my turn to sing," stuff. And then he started to take some shots at Ramesses. So then, like, the two of them eventually end up getting thrown out of the party. Then the next morning, and like Steve at the party, Steven was actually able to get like a pro match against Ramesses. He's in order to like have a chance to actually become pro wrestler. And so he told Ignacio that, and Ignacio just said that his life is with the orphans, that the orphans need him, and then Steven just said that he hates orphans. And then it caused Ignacio and Steven to just end up fighting, and then they appear to just separate. And then during a church event later on, Ignacio's robe accidentally catches fire, and then his wrestling outfit is then exposed, and then it's then revealed that Ignacio is Nacho. And then Ignacio just told everybody that he has the plans to fight in a battle royal with between 8 luchadors for the right to take on Ramses for a cash prize. And Ignacio plans to use the prize to actually improve the orphan's life. And so then there's the battle royal, but Nacho ends up losing to another wrestler, Silencio. And yeah, Nacho was the last one actually eliminated in the battle royal. And due to just Ignacio just feeling that he let everyone at the monastery down, he decides to just leave and just wander off in the wilderness. Then Steven eventually came to Ignacio and told him that Silencio had been injured after which Steven ran over his foot and he's unable to fight. And since Nacho was the second place finisher on the Battle Royal, he's now able to fight Ramses. And then Steven just told Ignacio that he no longer does hate orphans, and then he had Nacho's mask, and then Ignacio and Steven then agreed to be partners again. And then Steven brought a message over to Encarnacion from Ignacio. And yeah, Ignacio just had in the message that he explained in his plans to Encarnacion and just confessed love to Encarnacion as a sister. And then we have the match between Ramses and Nacho. And Nacho did like good in the match, and eventually Ramses then started cheating to get the upper hand on Nacho, and he ended up just unmasking Nacho and revealing who he was. And as it looked like Ramses was about to win, then Ignacio then like saw Encarnacion and the orphans arriving at the match, and then Nacho then made a comeback, and he as Ramses was trying to run off, then Nacho then just jumped outside the ring and was actually soaring like an eagle down onto Ramses, and then he eventually ended up pinning Ramses and winning. And then it led to Ignacio then being a pro wrestler, and then he used the money for what he said, and he made the orphan's life better. He used the money to buy a bus to take the orphans on trips. Then it just showed Ignacio, Encarnacion, and another worker at the orphanage, Steven. And then just taking the children to Monte Alban, I think that's how it's said. And that's how the movie ended. So, yeah, as I said, 2.25 stars out of 4. Not like a total atrocity. Has its funny moments, but yeah, it's just really mixed. And yeah, just the good stuff in it is just really not enough for me to really, like, actually call it good overall. But it does have, like, its humor to it, as I said. So, yeah, if you like to, you can, like, check this out. Like, it'll entertain you at some points. So, yeah. So yeah, if you can put up with like just a mixed bag between humor and stupidity, you can tolerate this movie will be just fine for you, I'd say. Alright, so that does it for my review of Nacho Libre. Hope you guys enjoyed this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.